Blessings, family. This is Jules, and this is the Becoming BioQuantum podcast. And I am just so delighted to have our guest today. We have Joshua Bloom, and he is, he's a lot of what we are doing here at Becoming BioQuantum. He is almost to the point where our names are very, very similar. And I won't tell you that because I'm going to let him talk about himself and introduce himself in just a minute. But I was connected to Joshua through a good friend of ours, and some of you have seen a past podcast with Fallon Jordan, and she is a gem, and it's no surprise that she found another gem to share with us today. So welcome, Joshua, and I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself and how you would like to start this conversation today.
Well, thank you. I enjoy really getting into the nitty gritty of the quantum thing. Quantum is an amazing experience when we experience it together, especially as a group. I've
Mm.
been doing this for, wow, 26 years. It's been a while. And I've been helping empaths, intuitives, and light workers to just thrive in their life rather than be, kind of stuck with the energy that we all pick up and the emotional stuff that we pick up and the information that we pick up, and it gets overwhelming. And so I work with people to help them transform those energies. When I started working in a hypnosis center, and I didn't actually do hypnosis really. I instead was doing this quantum work. Eventually, I named it quantum energy transformation. But before that had a name, I was working with people who had all different kinds of issues. People had migraine headaches and pain and attention deficit disorder and all sorts of issues, whether it was emotional or whether it was physical. And at the time, I was not in a good place. I was working on resolving my issue, which was huge anxiety. And it was very difficult for me to move forward in my life because sometimes I'd be at the hypnosis center and I couldn't even get home myself. Someone had to come and pick me up because I was too anxious to drive. I had days that were, functional optional days. Some days I wasn't functional and other days I was. And on those days that were good, even just going out of my house was a breakthrough because I'd kind of hide inside and hope and hope that I'd be okay in the next few minutes. So I started out with a lot of issues, and that's the reason that I decided I would help people and really help people. And at the hypnosis center, I started to notice that people were having these really fast transformations. They kind of scared me a little bit, but they were kind of cool. The very first person I worked with was a woman named Casey Craig, and she had fibromyalgia. And in 4 minutes, I helped her resolve it. But I didn't know I was helping her resolve it. I was just trying to help her in any way that I could. But when she told me that in the moment that it shifted for her, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to explain it. I called some friends of mine afterwards and said, "Am I crazy? What is literally happening? How did that happen?" And if I didn't see it myself, because she came in dragging her foot behind, walking in, if I didn't see that myself, I never would have believed it. And so I did that with other things like migraine headaches and people who had feet pain and all sorts of other issues. And eventually, I was able to resolve my own issues, my own anxiety, and I was able to step out and live a life that I've always dreamed of having, which is where I am now. But I wasn't always where I am now. I had a great evolution. And what I do is I help people have that same kind of evolution, regardless of where they are. We can jump into the quantum 5D and create massive change. That's amazing.
It is amazing. And that's what we are all about is living outside of what I call our programming or the matrix, however you want to see it. I think we all kind of have our own language on how to describe not just reality, but the way that we think and the way that we feel in our body. And so that's, I feel like the direction that we can go is like, let's talk about what is a 5D reality and what are some of our access points to where we can start experiencing. I know you're going to do a process, but how we can start experiencing it, really right now.
Yeah, so there's this 5D experience of beingness that we get to experience. However, this is kind of a new concept for many people in our communities because most of the people live in 3D. We live in a 3D experience. Some people have leveled up a little bit and maybe they're in the 4D. However, 5D is interesting because I think 5D is a larger awareness than even 4D is. And being in that larger awareness, we're in a place where we can create what we think is impossible in that realm. And when I first started, I didn't know I was going into that quantum 5D realm of things. I just thought, I don't know, something happened and I can't explain it. Now I look at those things that change and how people experience things is normal, but it didn't start out that way. So the 5D realm to me is where all the rules change. When we think about people in the hospital today, or we think about what Bruce Lipton said about either you're in growth or you're in protection. Being in growth is this experience where all your cells are working perfectly and everything's healthy and everything's going also great. But being in the protection mode, that's when you're in a little bit of a fight or flight, or maybe a lot of fight or flight. And when you're in that place, you're kind of going backwards, you're kind of going the opposite of moving forward, right? And so when we're moving backwards or standing still, we see this when people are in hospitals. They're not getting better. They're either staying the same or getting worse. And that's what we see. That's what life is in our 3D world. So when Dr. Bruce Lipton shared with me about this growth protection thing, I thought that was really cool because I realized for myself that I was never in growth. When was that? When was there a time where I was in growth? And then I went back and I thought about all the times I went for help and someone would help me and they were giving me whatever their treatment is, or they were inviting me to transform. And all the times it didn't work. And I said, wow, was I in growth or was I in protection? Well, obviously I was in protection and I wasn't changing because of that. And so when I created quantum energy transformation, that's one of the first things I decided was if it's not going to work, if you're not in growth, well, that's got to be step number one. So in my modality, quantum energy transformation, we always start off being in that growth place, being in a place where you're in your beingness. So that 5D place is an experience of not being in protection, but being in a place where all your cells are working really well, being in a place where the rules that people would look at from a 3D perspective would say are impossible. We now look at everything has changed because it doesn't respond in the same way. Things behave differently in the quantum field. Things behave differently in the 5D. And it's all about frequency. So when your frequency is really, really high, which you'll experience later, when your frequency is really, really high, it's going to be awesome to realize that there's more that can happen in this space. I like what you said earlier about the Matrix. I love that movie. Um, the, Being in the Matrix is very similar, right? Because Neo, he was in this Matrix system, so to speak, and he could learn karate like in a day, and he was black belt, right? And he learned all of that. That's what we're doing in the 5D. We're learning at a higher level of beingness, at a higher level of change, at a higher level of energy. And so when we get to those higher levels of energy, I believe anything is possible.
I could not agree more. And at BioQuantum, we see there's states of consciousness, and that the body is actually a reflection of what state of consciousness you're in. And I would say what you're calling the 5D is what we would call being in at least the fourth level of consciousness. And in that state of consciousness, the body is still. And we're in a space of stillness where it's in a space of allowing, which would be the place where change and possibilities and all the beautiful stuff. Gosh, there was something else that you said that I wanted to tap back into. Let me see if it comes to me. So you're talking a lot about the cells, and we are all about cell ascension, and really seeing the body as a vehicle of the ascension, and that there is an intelligence stored within our cells, and that we can tap into that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was going to go into that space where you're talking about Neo and how they could learn karate, and we really play in that realm. And I'm just going to go on a tangent for just a moment because I've been really playing with this, but one in particular, I decided to try that. So I uploaded the frequency of being a good golfer. I'm not a good golfer, by the way. And I play once a year when I go visit my mom. And so I uploaded it and I held my consciousness in the frequency of what was released. And I asked my cells to hold on the memory of a good golfer. And I played really well. I had some birdies, and even the lady that we were talking about, she was like, "There's no way you only play once a year." And I said, "Yeah, no, I uploaded the frequency of being a good golfer, and I'm just holding consciousness there." And it was intriguing for her, but this is where we're going. And that's just like such a small thing that we can start to play in.
I love that. I love that you held that frequency to be able to create a new reality for yourself, like going on a different timeline, right? You're in a different timeline of experience where now you became a good golfer when before you weren't. I think that there's a power in that. We all can go into a place where we can excel in different areas where maybe we didn't know how to before, but we know how to now.
I feel like the space that we're moving into as we start to experience the 5D consciously, and that our body, it knows what to do in that space. And we kind of move from learning to remembering. And it's almost as if a higher technology of the body is turned on, and we start to experience what we were really meant to be, right? I don't feel like we were meant to be in a body that only focuses on survival in that primal space. There's a whole another quantum experience of our body, bioquantum. And I know that this is a lot of what you do as well. So let's talk a little bit about maybe just, I know there's some people here that are probably wanting some examples of what kind of things that you do when you're working with somebody, let's say with anxiety. I know that that's like something that people are really, I keep hearing that word, and I haven't heard that word in such a long time. And just the last week, I think I've heard it 3 times. So I feel like there's a little bit of a topic here. So I'm just going to let you take it and see where it goes.
Well, anxiety is very interesting and very personal to me because it was definitely the issue I was dealing with. And it came on suddenly, and I didn't have anxiety before. It just started to happen, and then I got worse and worse and worse, and I stopped living, you know. It was definitely a difficult experience. And what was really neat about that is I believe that this happened for a reason, that it didn't just happen accidentally, that I was meant to do what I'm doing. And had that not happened, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So I think that there's a magic to that I'm being guided in. I was guided to do exactly what I'm doing. I was looking at resolving my issue, my anxiety,
Mhm.
and it took a long time because I had to go learn a lot and I'd start from zero and get to where I need to be. And so, in that experience of discovering how to resolve it, there was a lot that I learned. There was a lot of understanding of why, when I was working with somebody else, they would shift instantly in front of me. And then when I, do it the same thing for myself, it wasn't working. And so that was interesting. It was also interesting that people would go home and they wouldn't have their problem anymore, but I went home with mine. Many, many days, many, many weeks, many, many years. And that was hard to take. However, I guess, it made me stronger. I guess what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Right? It made me stronger in many ways. And it gave me a lot of practice with people because I was able to take the quantum concepts and the understanding of how change happens. And I was able to apply that to someone's issue or someone's problem or what someone was dealing with. And so it didn't really matter what the issue or problem was because I wasn't an expert in any one problem. I was an expert in change, at least after I learned all this stuff. When I learned everything that I learned, I started to put it together in a new way. I looked at what were the things that were working when they were working. And when they didn't work, I was curious about that too. And discovering what was happening with people when it did work and what was happening with people when it didn't work. And so I was, looking at my internal checklist. Okay, were they in growth when this change happened, or were they not? What was happening in the experience of moving the energy? Were they able to move the energy? Were they able to feel the energy? What was actually happening in that? So I started to take things of many different modalities because I've learned like at least over 20 different healing modalities, most of which I became certified in so that I could help myself. And what happened first was I helped other people. And that really gave me inspiration to help myself. I don't think that if I didn't have that experience of helping all these people, I don't think I would have seen the possibility to help myself. I never thought that I would change. I didn't believe I would change. I did not think that I would ever live without anxiety. I thought that was it. I thought that was the way life was going to be. These are the cards that I was dealt, and I was stuck with it. And so there were times where I was having a lot of hope for helping other people, but not necessarily myself. And then I was able to evolve and learn and help myself with anxiety. And I realized what I was doing wrong. I realized why it wasn't working for me. And in doing so, I also learned even better how to help other people because what I saw in me, because if you can see it in yourself, that's the hardest thing. You can helping somebody else is so easy, but when it comes to helping yourself, we don't see ourselves in the same way. We don't have the same perspective. It's not as easy to have that mechanism of intuition towards ourselves. Actually, when we think about intuition for ourselves, we second guess ourselves frequently, and we don't think that we can figure it out, or we don't know what it is, and we get all in our head, all kind of messed up there. And so that was why I was stuck for many, many years until I stopped that. I said, okay, let's do something different. Let's do what you do with clients, Joshua, and then see how that might apply to you. So I did. I applied what I was doing with clients to myself in order to actually heal myself and to move the energy. And even today, everybody gets triggered. I get triggered today too. When I get triggered, I know how to deal with it now. I know how to move that energy and not be victim of it. And I think when it comes to anxiety, especially, that's a big victim experience. Many people have different levels of anxiety, and the difference between, for example, stress, anxiety, and a panic attack is literally intensity. That how intense that feeling is makes it another realm of difficulty. So when it's really, really intense, it's a panic attack. When When it's fear, it's a different level of intensity, right? So the intensity can change. And when we have huge intensity, we really become victim of a situation, of our own energy. I mean, there were times in my own experience where I thought the energy was literally going to kill me. It's like, okay. I remember one day, it's kind of funny. I was, I had gotten triggered from a past life fear. I don't know if you've ever had a past life fear, but I did. And it had to do with, I believe, being killed in cement. So when the mason came over to my house because he was trying to fix a leak for me, I freaked out. I freaked out all over the place. I wasn't really nice to the guy. Didn't mean not to be nice, but for some reason he walked into my house without ringing the bell. Who does that? So it didn't start off great to begin with, but I was triggered about the mason being there and I didn't know why because it didn't make any sense. I never had an issue with the mason as far as I knew. So I was having this issue with this mason, and it started out as anxiety, and then it became a panic attack real quick. And so I had to move that energy, and it didn't move in the beginning. And so I started to work on it with different things. I thought maybe I can throw some things at it and make it shift. And so I threw some things in it, and for about 5 minutes, I got relief, and then it would come right back. I'm like, I know why it's not working because the tool I'm using is too small for this big, big energy. I have to up the ante on my tool because the energy's upping the ante on me. And so I went right into the quantum and I started to move the energy. Now, this is big, big, big energy, okay? This was a fear of me being in cement and being killed. That's what this was about. I didn't know it during the process. All I felt was the energy of that. And it was taking me over. It was rough. And so I was breathing, I was connecting, I was getting into the 5D, into the quantum. And I did that. And all of a sudden, the energy started to move, which was a good thing because it was going to move out. But before it moved out, it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And at one point, I'm thinking, what am I going to do? am I can't call an ambulance and say my energy is killing me. I mean, that would be ridiculous. So I said, I have to get through this. I just have to be with it. So let's just say it's very difficult to be in the quantum 5D energy when you feel your energy is trying to kill you. Okay. It's another level of, oh my God. And I also realized that this wasn't something that happened to me in this body in this lifetime, but it definitely happened to me somewhere, and it's coming through my energy. So I just let it move and move and move and move, and it did and it did, and finally it released. And I felt so good that it released, and then I continued to move forward with my life, realizing, wow, that was amazing to release that. Could you imagine that I've been carrying that around for years and years and years and years? Didn't even know it was there, and then got triggered in that moment. That trigger was a gift. Now, I know they don't feel like a gift when you get triggered. I'll tell you that. Triggers do not make you feel happy. They make you feel really uncomfortable. And many times they put you into a place of panic, like they did for me. However, because I learned to stay in that quantum 5D energy for a long enough time for it to move the energy, I was able to release it. I don't think I could have released that, 20 years ago. I wasn't at a level of being able to stay in the 5D that long. Do you see what I mean? So my ability in being able to enter the 5D place and stay there long enough for the energy to actually move, because it's not going to move if I'm crimping the hose. Do you see what I mean? And what is crimping the hose? Crimping the hose is going into your mind and thinking about it. Crimping the hose is going into the fear because it's so big. Crimping the hose is feeling paralyzed because it's such a big emotion. So in order to do that, you got to raise your frequency. And it's hard to raise your frequency when this low frequency is really pushing your buttons. So it's kind of cool. So and very difficult at the time, but I was able to move the energy. I'm so happy today that I've had that experience because I know when I work with a client, if they have such a big past life fear or something, I know that we can handle it together. And I think
Mhm.
that's amazing.
That is amazing. That is a great story. And it's interesting how it really is when we can step back and observe what the body does when it's triggered and see it for what it is, because I do feel like there is a level of observation and it, but also knowing where you're observing from. It's not just break off and observe yourself leaping, because we have to actually move to a higher state of consciousness or to the 5D. And then it's kind of like we just have to kind of hang out until the body does what it needs to do to reset into harmony. And it is a beautiful process. And I always see those triggers, if you will, or things there, it's feedback of what the body needs to release or to bring into a higher frequency or perspective in order for us to ascend or live a happier life. And so, in those ways, we may not enjoy it, but to always have in the back of our mind that this is an ascension trigger, not a primal trigger. I can use it for good, just like what you were saying, and it does become a blessing. Well, with that, we're right here. I feel like this is the perfect kind of transition into you sharing your process, Joshua. So I'm going to let you go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, let me first just give a setup and then I'll do that.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
So, first of all, I wanted to say that it's really important to rise high to release. So, I was just sharing a story where I was triggered first. When you're triggered first and you have this uncomfortable low frequency feeling pushing your buttons quite a bit, then you are trying to release from that space, and it's very hard to do that. Most of the time when I'm working with clients, and this is how I get very, very fast transformations to happen, is that we go up, we go high to release. Or I might say better to say we get high to release versus, all right, we get high to release versus the idea of trying to release to get high in the high frequency. So it's really important that we go to a higher frequency first and then start letting go of things. But not all the time does that happen because we get triggered and we're like, oh, I've got to release this because it's up right now and I got to deal with it. And so if that happens, you need to have some skills. You need to have some ways to raise your frequency so that you're not starting off from this low frequency and trying to be in the 5D when you're really in the 3D really big, right? So I want to show you a couple things before we do this exercise because it's going to help you be able to do it. This guided experience is beautiful, and if you have headphones, it would be good to use that. You'll be able to hear the stereo even if you don't, so it's fine if you don't. But if you have headphones or something like that, you'll hear it better. Now, one of the things that we do is we clap our quantum point. Have you heard of the quantum point? Well, the quantum point is above your heads, right here. Okay. And when you clap it, you send energy into it. And we use it for setting intentions. We use it for releasing. We use it for a lot of things. But the quantum point's right above the head. So what you're going to do is you're just going to clap the quantum point and just say, yes. There we go. And then you just hold this pose. I call this pose the genie pose, just holding it like that, right? I just call this the genie pose. And you'll notice after you do that, at some point, your arms will feel like, oh, it's time to come down. And then you just bring them down to your third eye and taking a breath. And then down to your heart and taking a breath. And then to your power center. which is right above your belly button. And you're just taking a deep breath. And then under your belly button, and just taking a deep breath. And then you can just drop your hands on your lap and just taking a deep breath. Now, just from that, if you did it and if you clapped it pretty good, you'll notice that it would give you energy. You got a nice energy going. So that's going to be inside of the experience. So whenever that happens, you're going to have a moment to say what I ask you to say, which is going to be a quantum command. You're going to clap and say yes, hold the genie pose, and then you're going to bring it down your body. Very, very simple. You can't do it wrong. And even if you do it wrong, it's okay. It'll still work. All right. Now, the important thing with this experience is that you're going to be doing something that I call quantum jumping 5D. And you're going to be jumping in through a beautiful portal. I'm going to guide you, so it's going to be very easy. You'll jump through a portal, and on the other side of that portal is going to be a you that is in a different dimension that already is limitless. And then you're going to connect with that you, merge with that you, become that you. You're going to bring back the rhythm of that experience, of that energy. You're going to bring it all back with you, like you did with the golfing, right? Holding that frequency. You're going to bring it back, and you're going to bring it back into the now, into this moment, into this dimension. And from here, you're going to keep it. And by hitting the quantum point, you're actually getting your energy system to say, oh, this is what we're choosing to have. This is what I command. And then, we get what we command. So there you go. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we can go for it. All right, give me just 1 second to push the buttons. Okay. Good. Here we go. Can you see my screen? We're all good? All right. Yes! Welcome to Quantum Energy Transformation. Welcome to this powerful quantum experience. Let's begin. Breathe deeply into your body, down into the base of your spine. Keep breathing. That's it. And as you continue to breathe, and keep your attention at the base of your spine. Allow yourself to get really the tailbone inside. That's it. Get relaxed. Imagine your energy flowing downward from the base of your spine and beingness, expanding into strong, unwavering roots that anchor you from the base of your spine all the way and down, deeply into the earth. Yes. Feel that connection fully. Solid, stable, powerful. Yes. You are safe. You are safe. You are supported. You are supported fully. You are now connected in your body, deep into your body, all the way down. That's it. Fully connected. Good. You're doing great. While keeping your awareness at the base of your spine, soften your entire body. Relax. Soft, deeper now, and softer. Deeper. And relax even and more. Deeper. That's it. You've got this. Feeling the space around you. You're amazing. Open. Let your energy expand effortlessly. You are powerful. Making room for the highest and most vibrant version of you. To emerge. That's it. Yes. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathe in and out. In this moment, you are good, strong. Allow each breath to ground you deeper. Down, deeper, down, yes, down, deeper, now, yes, you've got this. Even deeper, deeper than that, now. Now notice your energy, vibrant and strong, your frequency rising as you go down, as you go body. Deeper, down, that's it, down, into your body, down, fully, deeper, all the way now, down, into your body, down, even more, down, that's right it. Now. Preparing for your next evolution. Here we go. Now, imagine before you a brilliant, swirling, cobalt blue vortex with golden swirls of beautiful energy, shimmering with limitless possibility. This is the quantum portal, your gateway to the highest version of you. The version of you who is already grounded, confident, and fully thriving. Limitless. Yes. It's time. Let's jump through the portal. Get ready. Right now. 1, 2, 3. Jump now. Feel yourself passing through the cobalt blue and golden vortex of possibility. Notice the shift. The air is lighter. The energy electric. The frequency elevated. You have arrived. Look ahead. There you are. Powerful, radiant, unstoppable. Feel their presence fully, deeply. Notice their strength, ease, and certainty. See how they move, breathe, and exude unshakable confidence. A beautiful, golden current of energy surges toward you, electrifying, powerful, and alive. It rushes into your cells, floods your entire being with the frequency of the limitless you. Feel the goodness. Yeah, feel it. Experience that frequency radiating from inside your core, shining outward, glowing, unstoppable. Now, step forward. Step into their energy. Breathe in. More and even more. Breathe out. You are shifting, becoming. Feel the frequency. Keep allowing as you merge fully with your limitless self. Even more now. Look through their eyes, your eyes. See the world from this limitless, confident perspective. Sense and feel your awesomeness. how natural it feels, how effortless, how right. Feel it. You are now them. Feel it. Lock into every cell of your being. This is you. Fully activated. You got this. Full energy expression and rhythm of this limitless you. Stay in your body. Fully grounded. Feel your new strength, high frequency, and vibrant energy. Yes, your limitless self has something to share. Now take in a deep breath. Feel the energy within you. Let it out. Let yourself open, expand, align. Now ask, what do I need to do in order to evolve myself instantly to stay limitless? Feel the answers arriving through words, sensations, energy transmissions. Not just as knowledge, it's a frequency download, rewriting who you are at the deepest level of you. Let the energy rush into your cells, bones, and your energy field. The limitless frequency is infusing you from within you. It's your new default. Yes, you are limitless. Right now, when I count to 3, the quantum portal will reappear and you'll jump back, forever changed. You are the limitless you. This is now your essence, your vibration, your truth. Every cell of your body vibrates at this high frequency. Every step forward is you in your unshakable, limitless power. The energy, the confidence, the clarity, it's all you. And it's already locked in. This is the new rhythm of your life. This is the new rhythm of you. 1, 2, 3. Jump back now. Feel yourself moving through the portal, bringing all of this success, confidence, and expansion back into your present reality. You have returned. You have arrived. Now, when I count to 3, you'll clap your hands above your head, striking the quantum point, and firmly declare, yes! 1, 2, 3, yes! Feel the energy surge through your body. Hold your hands in this power pose. Breathe. Feel the energy soaring within you. Now begin to lower your hands to the third eye. Breathe. Lower now down to your heart. Breathe. Lower to your core. Just above your belly button. Breathe. Now rest your hands on your lap.
Yes.
Take a moment.
Woo.
Notice how
Yes.
outrageous,
Outrageous.
expansive, and
Confident.
unstoppable you feel.
You are amazing.
This confidence
You
is
are
now your
fantastic.
default energy.
Yes.
Whenever you want to reconnect with this limitless state, simply remember this. Clap above your head, hit the quantum point, and hold your power pose.
Yes.
This energy is you. It is who you are. Gently open your eyes now, fully present, fully activated, and ready to soar. Welcome to your limitless self. It's truly who you are.
That was so fun.
Awesome.
I felt like a superpower energy there.
Right? I love that energy.
It's
It just
amazing.
feels so good.
It does. It does. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes. So we're going to open it up to the gallery here and let everyone ask Joshua a question, share your experience. I definitely thought of you, Sandy, in this and just that kind of childlike energy. So fun. So, if anybody would like to interact with Joshua, you can simply just raise your hand, or if we don't have too many people going out at once, you can just unmute yourself. And it all, everyone's in their zone. Sandy, go ahead, honey. Oh, let's see, you're still on mute. Here, let me see if I can give you a pop-up. Looks like she froze now. Huh. Well, we'll give
I
her.
gave her a pop-up, but I don't know. I think she froze. Oh, there we go.
Okay, there we
Great.
go. I mean, is there anybody that's not grinning from ear to ear?
Aw,
I mean, Joshua, that was so much fun and such a ride. I mean, I have no idea what taking ecstasy might be like, but, that felt like, a trip really out of my body and brought me into a place of pure joy. Thank you very much. It was really a wonderful adventure.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed taking that adventure with you. I'm smiling ear to ear too.
I love that. Thank you for sharing, Sandy. And there's definitely that energy, right? Of just like a little pick me up and a reset, and it's kind of hanging out in those possibilities. I guess if nobody else has any share, I think that that would be a kind of a great place for you to kind of close this out here, Joshua, is maybe like, what do we do now in this beautiful energy? And then I'll give you the opportunity to share with how we can find you and if you have any special things you'd like to share.
Absolutely. So, um, I just first want to say, wow, I really find that powerful just to connect and do this as a group because 5D is not about ascending for yourself, but it's about all of us ascending and lifting each other up. And so when we get to do that together like this, that's the juice. It's great to do this, but when we can do it together, it's just even that much more powerful. So I have another experience that you can experience, which I'm thrilled to share with you. It's about bringing in the light, and it's quite different than this. This is the quantum jumping 5D, and this is what I call a guided connection, bringing in the light, and it invites you to bring in the light while you get into that really great place of keeping your attention lower in your body, opening up your auric field and expanding more and more, being in that place of what Dr. Bruce Lipton calls growth. And it's so important that we're in growth first because science backs it up and says if you're not, it's just not going to work. And I've proven that. I've proven it by failing so many times with my own healing. When I wasn't in growth, It didn't work. But when I was, wow, the possibilities were endless and have been amazing. So I'm just thrilled to share that with you. So this other experience is very different. However, it's going to be something that you'll enjoy just as much. I'm going to put the link in there. Let me see here. There we go. I'm going to put the link just in the comments there. You can see it there. Yep. iqet.com/jewels.
And I'll also
And
put this link for those of you that are not able to grab that. It will also be in the show notes. So don't worry about having to get it right now if you don't have the chance to. See, go
awesome.
ahead, Joshua.
Oh, what else did you want me to share?
I guess that's it. If that was all, not all.
I
Why
can
don't you
share more.
give a shout out for your website that you'd
Oh,
like to send them to?
my website is beingquantum.com. And you know, what I want to share is connection. What I want to share is beingness. I want to share that possibilities for you are endless. You can achieve what you choose to achieve. You can live the life you choose to have. And even if you don't believe, because I know there's this thing that says, well, you must believe to achieve. I don't follow that. I certainly did not believe that I was going to heal myself ever. And I did. So you don't need to believe to actually transform. It's really all about frequency, being in growth, and stepping into your brilliance. And I know everybody can do that.
Well, and this was such a beautiful gateway of starting to experience those limitless possibilities. And we just so honor the work that you're doing in the world, Joshua. Thank you so much for bringing your brilliance and your heart to the community. And I hope everybody is feeling it. I know Sandy's the only face I can see, and I can tell that she is glowing, and you are as well. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you too. I appreciate you having me here to share with your community and our connection. I just really feel it. It's awesome.
So much love to everyone. And until next time, yeah, let's experience that quantum.
Oops, it froze me.
It's frozen. It's a frozen heart. Uh, well, we just send you all so much love and thank you, Joshua. And until next time, everyone, let's float in this beautiful energy and tap into those limitless possibilities. So much love.